So now I'm going to format a really simple table. This is not even a real RAND style table because it doesn't even have a header or a stub column or anything like that, but this is how this author wanted it, and I thought I would take this opportunity to show some really simple formatting. So the first thing I'm going to do, zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing there. To do that zoom in, I just pressed Command and then the plus sign or the equal sign on my keyboard. So I'm going to arrow over here and create 2 lines here because we treat this as table number, and I'm going to option click this. I just option click most of the time because I want to remove any overrides. And I'm going to option click table title for this, for the table title. And the next thing I'm going to do is I use the arrow keys to come down to the line where my table is, and after checking to make sure that I have a little that it's in a separate paragraph from everything else, I'm going to change the style on that to table place, and you can see that my table is a little bit too wide, and the centering will make it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be to get it the right size. So I'm going to put in an override for this paragraph style to align it left, and that will allow me to just come over here and decrease the width there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click inside the table so that I have my little blinking cursor, my text tool is selected, and I'm going to press Command Option A, Option A, to select the whole table. The next thing I'm going to do, it doesn't totally matter about the order of these things, but this is usually the order I do it in, is I'm going to change my paragraph style to table text, and I'm going to override, or I'm going to clear any overrides by option clicking that. I'm now going to press Command Option B to bring up my cell options. If you didn't want to do it that way, you could go to Table, Cell Options, Text. It's the same thing. So our defaults for this are P6, P6, 0, and 0. I do want my alignment at the top. I'm going to come over here to Strokes and Fills. I'm going to change that to 0, and I'm making sure there's no cell fill because we don't generally use that. And I'm going to change my rows and columns to 1P2. That's what we use, at least 1P2. And I'm going to click OK. So now I've got my basic table. The next thing I want to do in this case is some rules. So I want a bottom rule and a top rule on this table, and that's it. So I am going to come up here to my borders and choose just the top and bottom and choose 1. And you can sort of see them appear. The other thing I want to do is add some space here, and the easiest way I find that to do this is to select that column and just add 0.4 or 0.6 spacing there. That way, no matter what I do later as far as editing this text, it will still maintain that, as opposed to a line break, which is what usually people do. Now the next thing I see is that this wrapping makes it a little difficult to see that these are just 3 separate things. So I'm going to clean this up by making this table text hang, and I'm going to do the same over here. Okay, now I've got my table formatted, and I'm going to press Command 0 so we can zoom out and see the whole page. Command 0 just puts the whole page in the center there. And I'm going to double click, select, press Command X to cut that. I'm going to show you using my arrow key that we just go back up to this next line, and you can see there's a little extra paragraph mark. I'm going to delete that. And so this table is going to go at the top of this page, I believe, because we have a call out sooner. Oh no, we don't have a call out sooner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it's below. This is the table call out. So I'm going to click outside using my text tool. I'm going to click in a white margin, and I'm going to press Command V to paste it. As always, it puts my box right in the center of my spread, and I'm going to press the selection tool to select that box, text box, and I'm going to move it. Doesn't really matter where in the page, but I just want it centered between the margins. I'm going to make it full width, and then I'm going to come over to my text wrap, and I'm going to do a top-bottom text wrap, which you'll see already has done something, and I'm going to change the top spacing to 1p2, and there is a footnote on this page that is probably going to stay there, so I'm going to change that to the spacing above a footnote, which is 1p6. Now I've got most of my table in there, but not all of it, so I'm going to just press Command-Option-C on my keyboard, and that gives me the full space. You can see the white bar above, table 3.1, is keeping the spacing above the table number consistent with what it would be normally, and the spacing below is keeping the footnote spacing what it should be. So with my mouse inside the table, see how the pointer is a little different when you're inside the table versus just inside the bounds of the text box spacing. I'm going to drag it down so that the blue line of the text wrap hits exactly where that rule is above the footnote. And now I've got my table in the right place. And I can go back up here with my text tool and proceed with formatting my text.